One of the most prominent names in professional wrestling has, and always will be, Hulk Hogan. Whether he's from your generation of the sport or not, almost everyone knows who he is or has at least heard his name. Now, Hulk may have never been as rich and famous as other celebrity wrestlers like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or John Cena, but in his prime, there was nobody like him. On top of that, he also happened to be one of the richest wrestlers in the world. And despite some major financial hiccups, he currently still ranks among the top. Today, we are going to be taking a look at why exactly Hulk Hogan almost went completely broke. Make sure you stay until the end of the video to see how he managed to save himself from financial demise. Who is Hulk Hogan? Hulk Hogan was born on August 11th, 1953, under the name Terry Eugene Bowler. He was born in Augusta, Georgia, but at a very young age moved to Florida, which is where he became involved in sports. At first, Hogan took a liking to baseball, but his career ended before it could officially begin following an injury. At the age of 16, Hogan got into professional wrestling. First, he would simply enjoy watching the sport and had absolutely no aspirations to become a professional wrestler. That would all change when he met the Briscoe brothers, a duo that wrestled together and hooked Hulk up with a professional wrestling trainer. And from there, it was history. Hulk Hogan rose to a level of fame that most professional wrestlers can only dream of. In the early 2000s, Hogan is said to have been earning a $10 million salary as a professional wrestler. And it's been reported that around that time, the man had a net worth of $30 million. This was thanks to, as we just mentioned, his amazing salary, along with the millions of dollars in assets that Hogan owned, which included multiple mansions and million-dollar homes, as well as various exotic cars. This didn't last too long into the 2000s, however. The wrestler's irresponsible spending habits and lifestyle would eventually catch up to him. Hulk Hogan nearly lost all of his money. 2007 proved to be one of the toughest years of Hulk Hogan's life, at least financially and romantically. At that time, he had been married for just over 24 years to Linda Claridge, and according to Linda's publicist, she had discovered that Hogan had been unfaithful to her. After discovering that he was allegedly having an affair with a woman named Christine Plant, who happened to be a close friend of their daughter, Linda filed for divorce and was ready to battle it out with the wrestler in court. Following the divorce case, it was reported that Linda was granted 70% of their total liquid assets. What this means is anything that can be considered cash or money in the bank that could be spent immediately. Hulk's ex-wife now owns 70% of it. On top of that, she was also given a 40% share of every company belonging to Hulk Hogan at the time. Linda was also given some of Hogan's non-liquid assets, including multiple exotic cars that the couple once shared. The divorce quickly brought Hulk Hogan down financially, and if his children hadn't already been considered adults at the time, alimony would have absolutely crippled him. But since they were all adults, the wrestler was able to avoid paying alimony. It's unclear exactly how much money Linda received through the divorce settlement, but it was reported that on top of that 70% of liquid assets and the 40% equity, Hogan's ex-wife was also granted a property settlement of $3 million, along with a stake in their joint investment accounts, which totaled around $7.4 million. In other words, along with the liquid assets and equity, Linda received more than $10 million. This ultimately led to Hulk Hogan being left with only $2.9 million. How Hogan fixed his financial situation. Now, a financial blow like this is one that would be hard for anyone to recover from, but somehow it would appear that Hogan was able to do so. The first thing that the professional wrestler did was liquidate some of his non-liquid assets, such as multiple expensive properties that he owned, one of which included a mansion that he owned in Florida, which he listed for $16 million, well below the price that he paid for it in hopes that it would sell faster. This was a good start, but Hulk knew that there was more to be done. After selling some of his assets, Hogan began looking into a lawsuit against Gawker, the media company that was responsible for releasing Hulk Hogan's sex tape after claiming that the media company violated his privacy. The court case was a victory for Hogan that saw him granted upwards of $100 million in damages, though it's unclear if he ever received or will receive the full payment since Gawker filed for bankruptcy shortly after losing the lawsuit. Beyond cutting down on his excessive spending, the millionaire knew that he had to do more in order to keep his finances growing. Starting around 2011, Hulk began stepping more into the media and ended up becoming a brand ambassador for quite a few big-named companies, including Rent-A-Center. He also took a shot at voice acting and making celebrity appearances across various television shows and movies. It was all a way for him to make some money while simultaneously putting his name back out there. What makes that so important for Hogan is that his name is essentially a brand, so anytime he can get someone to say it or read it, he is advertising. Hulk Hogan has gone on to host American Gladiators, purchased his own chain of restaurants throughout Florida known as Hogan's Beach Shop, and is even in the process of having a biopic created about his life. The craziest thing about that is in the Hulk Hogan biopic, Hogan is going to be played by Chris Hemsworth, aka Thor. Many Hulk Hogan fans believe that if the biopic is successful, it could be Hogan's next big break. Hulk Hogan's current net worth. Whether or not Hulk continues to be successful is yet to be seen, but considering his financial prowess plus his hustle, I think he has a good chance. As of right now, it appears that Hogan's net worth is currently around $25 million, which when you consider how far his net worth dropped since the mid-2000s, when it was $30 million, isn't too bad. He essentially went from having just under $3 million, right back to where he started during the end of his career's prime. That is without a doubt impressive. What do you think the world has in store for the Hulkster though? Do you think that he is going to see a rise in popularity once again? Or has he reached the peak of his fame and should now be focused on maintaining his income rather than growing it? Be sure to let us know what you think in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel while you're at it to ensure that you don't miss a single one of our uploads.